All right, everybody. It is Sunday afternoon, and let's go over the programming for the coming week. Looks pretty good. Me personally, I will be taking it easier this week. We have Hyrox. A lot of us will be flying down to Las Vegas on Thursday and Friday and competing this coming weekend. So this week for me is going to be low key, spike heart rate a couple times, let the body recover, eat a lot, and be prepared for Las Vegas. So that's what we got going on for me. And I know you guys really, really care about that. So I just, float my own ego there a little bit, talk about myself. But let's talk about this week of training. We have front squats on Monday. 70%, 4 sets of 4. 1 set every 2 minutes. I like it. I like front squats. I think they're good for us. So we got those. Then Metcon, 15 minutes of wall balls, power cleans, and lateral burpees. That's spicy. So on this workout, I would suggest maybe trying to go unbroken on these wall balls. Get a little weird with it. Okay? Maybe 2 sets. All right? But it is an option to try to go unbroken. Power cleans, these weights should be done in sets. They should be sets. Doesn't mean you have to do all 10 touch and go each round by any means, but I don't think that we should be approaching this with singles. Should be able to move some decent sets on here. Just looking at the, for instance, if I do Warrior 135, I would approach that as probably 2 sets. Power cleans each time around, unbroken wall balls, and then consistent movement on these lateral burpees over the bar. All right. Again, I don't know what I'm going to do, if I'm going to do this or not. But yeah, that's how I approach the workout. And have yourselves a nice little Monday opener. Tuesday, we got some tempo deficit kettlebell deadlifts. You know I love tempo. Things under control. We can load these up pretty heavy. It's a 3-second eccentric loading phase on these. And then 4 to 8 chin-ups. That's where we're going to work the biceps a little bit. Okay, pronated, supinated grip. 1 set every 3 minutes for 5 rounds of that on those tempo deadlifts. Deficit. Okay, we're going to get a little more stretch out of that. Let's make sure we do. Deficit doesn't need to be weird. This can be based on your hamstring flexibility, but we should be feeling a little bit extra adding the deficit. Maybe we're just standing on a 25-pound plate, get a little extra. We can also potentially do them on the smaller boxes and get a little extra there. Some people have much more flexible hamstrings than others, but the goal is to get a little bit extra without smoking the low back and turning it into a Jefferson curl. All right, 3 seconds on the way down for 10 reps. So my math serves me correctly. That's about 30 to 40 seconds of time under tension for those. Metcon that day, pretty simple, straightforward, classic CrossFit couplet 4 time. We got calories on the rower or bike, and then toes to bar or knees to elbows. No, knee raises. We want to keep those kipping knee raises, really work on the kip and combining that lat and core compression as we're developing our full toes to bar on this workout. I'm probably going to do this one as a perfect little prep workout for deload week for me. But go hard on the rower, biggest sets as humanly possible on the toes to bar. That's my thought. Push till failure, right? Not many folks, 30 toes to bar unbroken. I could probably do that. 50, that's 2 to 3 sets for me. But if you know my style, this kind of workout, you just send it. Just send it. And have yourselves a good time. Wednesday, squat snatch. Goal here is to squat snatch, but we do have the power snatch alternative. Right? Either 5 sets of 4, squat snatch, lighter weights, building up 1 set every 3 minutes for 5 rounds. Right? We will be doing a nice progression on this in the warm-up. And I would encourage, potentially, to work some squat snatches even if it doesn't feel great at a lighter weight. And then if you want to inch up a little bit and you need to pull back to power snatches because shoulder flexibility, hip mobility or whatever, but working the overhead squat and full snatch is beneficial to our mobility, stability, balance, coordination, and everything. So there is value there even at a lighter weight, working towards a full squat snatch. I've said this, I don't push the weight too crazy on squat snatches anymore because it is a movement that does tend to light up my shoulder. And where I'm at in my life, although I do like working some of this at lighter weights, it's not something I'm pushing maximum weight on anymore by any means. So I would be choosing a balance between maybe 2 or 3 sets lighter full squat snatch, and if I inch the weight up, maybe switch into power, some sort of combo there just to get some good strength session in. We got a nice little EMOM of front squats or overhead squats, and then single unders or double unders. Pretty simple, nothing too crazy. I would suggest fighting for overhead squats, and even if you have to go lighter and you got to scale. You know, the difference between welded and warrior this day is 10 or 15 reps. Both at 95, 65 pounds, not terribly crazy on the weight, so it's a very doable EMOM, right? I will not be doing this workout, just letting you know, because I don't want to do a bunch of squats one day out from us competing in Vegas. So that's the only reason. All right, I am competing Friday night, so that's where I'm at. Thursday, we got a little thickness going down. Pretty high volume. 10-to-1 bench press, 5 to 15 hammer curls, 10 to 20 dumbbell bent over rows, and 15 to 25 tricep extensions. Right? So that's basically 10 sets of each movement ascending in reps. So this is going to be a burner. Now, I almost added some single leg squatting, but we got it on Friday. All right, we got box step ups on Friday, so we're getting that single leg unilateral work that I like to see every week. So we got that on Friday. All right, Friday we have 3 rounds for time, lots of calories on bike or skier, box step ups, and GHD sit ups or ab mat sit ups. I really do like that workout a lot. Unfortunately, I will not be doing it, so I will be throwing down with JP in Las Vegas on Friday. So great little deal there. And then Saturday, 5 rounds for time of 20 burpees to a target, 20 hang cleans, 32 calories on the bike. The hang cleans are at 95, 65 pounds, so you can cycle big sets. This is just a good old-fashioned muscular endurance sweat fest. That's what it is. All right, that's good stuff. Forgot to talk about the sweat. Going back to Tuesday, you guys got 35 minutes of 20 each air squats, ab mat sit-ups, kettlebell swings, 15 each, 10 each. 35 minutes of that. So once you finish 10 of each, you go back to the top, 20 of each, 15 of each, 10 of each, back to the top, and you're getting some volume in there. On Thursday, your sweat workouts, 40-minute AMRAP of push-ups, single arm kettlebell high pulls. I actually like that movement a lot. And oblique V-ups. I hate that movement only because they humble the hell out of CrossFitters, and they humble me. But it's a great core exercise, followed by either 400-meter run. Allegedly, looking at the weather, might want to bring your ice skating shoes that day. All right. Or 2 minutes on ski or any machine, to be honest. All right, so 40 minutes of that. And then you're going to add 2 push-ups each round. So that's the only thing. Push-ups will keep going up each round on that. All right, that's the week. That's what we got. Everything's stacking up to where it should be a nice week to train every day. I don't see any wild card workouts in here that are going to blow you up, destroy you too bad. And the only one is if you do push the wall ball effort on Monday, that could leave you a little tender on Tuesday, but your legs get a break on Tuesday. All right, no squatting on Tuesday, and we'll squat again on Wednesday. But again, I'm in the camp that if you're breaking up 25 wall balls, 3 and 4 sets to get through 25, you probably need to go lighter on the wall ball. These 25 wall balls should be done in 2 sets each round at the most, in my mind, on Monday. So take that for what it is. Let's have a great week, you guys. And make sure you talk to me, your coach, if you got questions, training, thoughts, how you're recovering from training, how things are feeling, any injuries, aches, and pains you're working through. Please talk to us, talk to your coach. That's what we're here for. All right, we want to make sure you guys are finding success in this and getting the most out of this. All right. As you know, obviously, I'm going to say it. I'm a big believer in the programming. It has got me to being the fittest I've ever been, and it continues to build me in the direction that I want to go with my long-term health. So take that for what it is, you guys. If I didn't think this was the best thing for my long-term health, I probably wouldn't do it, and I'd pivot to something else. But I genuinely do. We hit everything. We hit strength. We hit mobility, stability, aerobic capacity, anaerobic capacity, muscular endurance. Like, all the boxes get checked. And we do that week over week, month over month, year over year. And as long as you're working with the coach, talking, communicating, and hitting the stimulus of each workout as intended, you should be able to flow day to day and get 3 to 5 days a week of good training in. If you find yourself getting beat down, blown up, I would encourage you that we have a conversation to figure out what's going on there and why. All right? So that's it. Stop boring you guys. Love you, and I'm excited. It's the week I've been training for the last 3 months with JP. So a bunch of us going to Vegas, throwing down at Hyrox, and I'm excited to give this little pivot in my training and see how we stack up. All right? Have a good rest of your Sunday. Peace. Love you guys.